YAML title: Why Retirees Are Leaving Panama for Colombia. 2026 Cost Shift Keyword: Retiring Panama, Leaving Colombia. 2026 Cost Cheaper Comparison. Thumbnail hook: Panama $2,600 more. Colombia $1,400 every month. Date 2026 8/25. Duration est 12/14. Min country Panama. Colombia pillar finance status draft wojij book 00030 Tiatam. A retired couple in Panama City is spending $2,600 a month. A comparable couple in Medellín, Colombia is spending $1,400. Same climate, same English-speaking expat community, same walkable neighborhood with good coffee and international restaurants. Different credit card statement by $1,200 every single month. That's $14,400 a year. And Panama keeps getting more expensive. My credibility promise 030 T130Q. We track retirement cost data across Latin America on a weekly basis. Cost of living scouts, visa updates, expat community feedback from people who are actually living this right now. These aren't numbers from a 2023 blog post. These are mid-2026 figures from the ground. Here's what the next 12 minutes covers. First, the actual cost shift happening in Panama right now, and why the numbers most retirees are working from are dangerously out of date. Second, a Medicare and tax trap that most financial advisors don't flag until you're already packing boxes. This one consistently shocks people who thought they had it figured out. And third, why Colombia is quietly becoming the new Panama, including two real catches that nobody in this space will say out loud. Stay for the counterpoint. Colombia is not perfect. Leave early and you'll miss the part that could cost you a very expensive mistake. Yeah. Section 1. The Panama Cost Reality Check 130-30-30. Let's start with the actual numbers. In 2022, the canon number for retiring comfortably in Panama City as a couple was around $1,800 a month. That figure has been repeated so many times in travel blogs and retirement forums that it feels like settled truth. It is no longer accurate. In 2026, a comfortable retired couple in Panama City spends $2,100 to $2,600 a month. That's the comfortable baseline, not luxury. We're talking a modest apartment, local groceries, utilities, internet, and transportation. Budget couples can compress to $1,700 if they move further from the city center and eat local. But here's the problem. That $1,700 floor is already above what a comparable couple spends in Colombia's top expat city. Here's where the pressure is most concentrated: housing. A one-bedroom apartment in Panama City's desirable neighborhoods, the walkable, English-friendly areas with the infrastructure most us retirees are actually looking for, now runs $1,100 to $600 a month. Pattern interrupt. Slow zoom on rent figure on screen. Pause beta. Let me put that in context. $1,100 to $1,600 for a one-bedroom is within striking distance of Memphis, Tennessee, Tulsa, Oklahoma, You could be paying Panama City rents and still not be in an American city, except in Panama. You're also paying out of pocket for health insurance because Medicare stops at the U.S. border. We'll get to that. Section 2. The inflation problem. 335. Panama's inflation isn't a rumor. Cost of living data shows Panama running at 12% annually. Even the more conservative estimates land at 5 to 6%. Either represents meaningful, compounding erosion of your purchasing power. In a country whose entire retirement pitch was affordability, here's the compounding math. At 6% annual inflation, your $2,100 monthly budget becomes $2,500 in 3 years. At 12%, that same budget hits $2,600 in under 2 years. Your Social Security cost of living adjustment runs at 2 to 3% in a strong year. The gap between Panama's cost trajectory and your income growth is widening every quarter. Two factors are driving this harder in Panama than in most of Latin America. First, Panama runs on us dollars, so it inherits us inflationary cycles without the central bank tools to fight them locally. Second, the expat wave of 2021 to 2023 permanently reset landlord expectations in every desirable neighborhood. That reset doesn't reverse. Pattern interrupt. Direct to camera. Cut. Quieter tone. Here's what most channels won't say. The Panama retirement guides that ranked in 2023 are still ranking today. People are finding them, trusting those numbers, and building retirement budgets around figures that are 18 to 24 months out of date. If you are using a number you read online without a clear 2025 or 2026 date stamp, treat it as fiction. No, Section 3. Healthcare still good, but do the math. 50630 tie. Let's be clear. Panama's healthcare is still genuinely excellent for the price. Specialist visits run $60 to $150 with short wait times and English-speaking doctors at the major expat hospital networks. Prescription drugs are 40 to 70% cheaper than us prices. Blood pressure medication that runs $100 or more a month in the U.S. costs $25 to $40 in Panama. Dental, a crown that costs $12,200 to $1,500 in the U.S. runs $300 to $500 at an accredited clinic in Panama City. Those savings are real. They have not eroded. But this is the line that surprises people every time they hear it. Medicare covers exactly $0 of your Panama medical costs. Medicare doesn't cross the U.S. border. Full stop. Why? So the $350 to $550 a month you're paying for private health insurance as a couple, that's not optional, and it's on top of everything else in your budget. For a couple spending $2,600 a month total, $500 in health insurance is nearly 20% of the entire budget. Factor that in before you build your spreadsheet. And when you do, compare it against Colombia's equivalent, because the gap is meaningful, and we're about to look at it directly. Section 4. The Colombia comparison. 638.30t. Middle Colombia text out. El Poblado neighborhood. English-speaking expat community. coffee shops, co-working spaces, international restaurants, walkable streets. Comfortable retired couple in 2026, $1,400 to $1,800 a month. That's $700 to $12,200 a month, less than Panama City. Every single month. Stack the specific comparison. One bedroom in El Poblado, $500 to $900 versus Panama's $100 to $1,600. Doctor visit, $20 to $40 in Medellín versus $60 to $150 in Panama. Private health insurance for a 65-year-old couple, $200 to $400 in Colombia versus $350 to $550 in Panama. Dental savings are similar in both countries. Groceries run meaningfully cheaper in Colombia. Pattern interrupt. Here's the one that actually shifted our thinking on this. Panama's dollar economy was always its biggest selling point. No exchange rate risk, stable purchasing power, no conversion math. That is a real advantage, and it's not zero. But running on US dollars also means Panama inherits every US inflationary cycle with no local lever to push back. Colombia uses the peso. For a retiree converting Social Security dollars monthly, a strong dollar means your purchasing power in Medellín goes up when US economic conditions are tight. It's a built-in hedge that Panama's dollarized economy cannot offer by design. In 2026, with the dollar at a historically strong position against the Colombian peso, a $2,047 Social Security check converts into purchasing power that covers a genuinely comfortable lifestyle in Medellín, with room left over. In Section 5, Visas and Moving Your Money, 8/30/10/0. Panama's visa stack is legitimately strong. The pensioner visa requires $1,000 to $1,500 a month in guaranteed income. Social Security qualifies directly. The Friendly Nations visa, available to us citizens as a recognized friendly nation, has a threshold as low as $500 a month with faster processing, 2 to 4 weeks versus 4 to 8 for the pensioner path. And before any of that, us citizens enter Panama visa-free for 180 days, renewable once for another 180. That's a full year on the ground before you commit to anything. Colombia's pensionado visa requires roughly $750 a month in pension income, lower threshold than Panama. Multiple pathways exist: retirement, digital nomad, and investor visas. Processing timelines are comparable. Banking access in Panama is a real practical advantage. Banco General Scotiabank and City Panama will open accounts for us non-residents with just a passport and proof of address. No residency required. Residency only unlocks better account tiers. This matters for retirees who want banking infrastructure in place before their visa is processed. On transfers, skip the bank wire. Bank-to-bank international transfers run $20 to $50 in fees. Our account context. Wise runs $2 to $10 at the mid-market rate with no markup. That's a $400 to $600 a year decision for anyone moving Social Security monthly. Pattern interrupt. Tax angle, one more before we move on. The Foreign Earned Income Exclusion. You've probably seen this cited as a reason to retire abroad. Exclude up to $120,000 a year in income from us federal tax. What gets left out of that pitch? The exclusion covers earned income. And why just consulting, self-employment? It covers exactly zero of your Social Security or pension, the entire income stack for most retirees. Your retirement income is 100% federally taxable no matter where you live. This doesn't kill the case for retiring abroad. The cost savings still win decisively, but it changes the spreadsheet your financial advisor runs, and you need to know it before that conversation. And then, Section 6. Why retirees are actually leaving 10-0-11-0. Retirees who've made the Panama to Colombia move describe the same pattern. It's never one cost that broke them. It's the compound effect. Rent up, groceries up, insurance up, while Social Security COLA stays flat. The breaking point is usually the lease renewal. Landlord wants $200 more a month. That's $2,400 a year. They do the Colombia math for the first time, and the number stops them cold. There's also a lifestyle shift that's changed the equation. Medellín's expat community has grown dramatically. English-speaking doctors, dentists, and attorneys are established. Direct flights from major U.S. hubs, Atlanta to Medellín, is under 4 hours. The infrastructure gap between the two countries that existed 5 years ago has compressed significantly. The argument that Panama is easier for us retirees is weaker than it used to be. The counterpoint, 11-0-12-0. Here's what I'm not going to skip, because too many channels do. Colombia is not Panama. Spanish proficiency matters more in Medellín than in Panama City. Outside El Poblado and Laureles, English is sparse. If you're not willing to learn basic conversational Spanish, Colombia is a harder daily experience in ways that don't show up in a monthly budget comparison. Medellín's security situation has improved substantially and verifiably, but Colombia's overall safety profile requires a level of ongoing neighborhood-specific awareness that Panama City simply doesn't demand. Don't extrapolate from a city-level crime statistic. Research the specific neighborhoods you're targeting, and the dollar advantage cuts both ways across a 20-year retirement horizon. A strong dollar is great right now in 2026. If the dollar weakens significantly over the next decade, Colombia's cost advantage can compress. Panama's dollar economy insulates you from that risk permanently, for better and for worse. Bottom line, 12-0-12-30 TO. If your budget as a couple is $2,000 a month or less, Panama is increasingly a stretch and Colombia is the move. If your budget is $2,500 or above and you value a dollar economy, an established expat infrastructure, Panama still works, but you're paying a real premium for that stability. Either way, run your numbers using 2026 data. Not the 2023 blog post I not the YouTube video with the outdated thumbnail. The gap between what Panama costs today and what people think it costs is where expensive surprises live. Ay. Ecta 12, 1230, 1330. One question, and I want a specific answer. What's your single biggest fear about retiring outside the United States? Not everything. Pick one. Healthcare, banking access, language barrier, being far from family. Drop it in the comments right now. We read every one, and the fear that comes up most in this week's comments drives our next deep dive. This is literally how we decide what to make. If you're building a Panama or Colombia budget right now, subscribe. We're publishing a line-by-line, monthly expense breakdown for both countries this week. Real receipts, real categories, no rounding. Otro. 1330 14 0 Speaking of real numbers, next video, we're going inside one actual month of expenses for a couple who made the move from Phoenix to Medellín 6 months ago. Every dollar, every category, no rounding, no averages. They spent $1,387 in month 1. We have the receipts. That video drops Thursday.